Folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we are going to work on our second half of our necklace using Bargain Bead Box's Art Deco Luxe. Today we're going to work on the dangles. We're going to have to do one portion of them, and then we'll set them aside for a while, and then we'll come back and do the second portion, which is hooking them to the necklace that we've already got done. So let's turn down and we'll get started on that. Now this is my design, if you can see it, that I have done. Maybe I can get it just a little bit smaller so you can see it better here. Okay. Now see, we've got all the beading around here, but then we've also got these 3 dangles. These 3 dangles are the first part we need to work on. So we'll get working on those. And then we'll have to put these aside to dry because this is a little bit of leather that goes up into a bead cap. So then once those are set aside to dry, the first part of what we're working on is going to be these. This is our dangles. Now we won't be able to finish the dangles up until later. We're just going to do the first portion, which is to put the little pretty braided stuff into our bead caps. So we'll set these aside because these can't go on until our caps dry. So what we're going to do is we're going to get out this leather. Well, I think it's imitation, but I could be wrong. It might be real leather with sequins on it. And it's not a really long piece, and we're not going to make our dangles really long. Maybe just like so for the well, that might be what I use for the longer. And then we'll make 2 smaller ones about that length. Of course, they'll be smaller than that once they go up into the bead cap. But they're not going to be atrociously long. So let's get our flush cutters out, and we will cut this right here. So we're going to cut 2 pieces this size and 1 piece the longer size. So this is the longer size. This is going to be the middle piece. And then we'll cut another one this size. As you can see, I don't have them quite flushed against the edge, but you know, they're going to go inside the cap, so I'm not sure we care that much. So what we're going to do then is we're going to fold these up, put some glue on them, and they're going to go inside these, like so. So that will be like the smaller one, and then the larger one will be like so. Now this is quite a bit larger. I didn't realize I'd cut it this much bigger, but I think we're going to be all right. Now, so what we need to do is we're going to get out our silicone mat because we need to glue these pieces together. Now I'm just going to use, oops, I missed one of my pieces here. Strange, where'd it go? Oh, it's inside the cap still, duh. So then we're going to pull this back out. And you can do this in one of 2 ways. Put a little E6000 in here as well as some super glue. Or you can just do the super glue. If you do just E6000, you're going to have to wait for a long time as opposed to just a little while. So just warning there. I'm going to put just a little bit of E6000 in each cap. So oop, got a bit more in that one than I wanted. I may have to take some out because I don't want to have it be squirting out all over the place. So because we want them to dry a little bit faster, we are going to, let's see, I know I have a piece of wire here, so I'm going to just pull some of this glue out of here. It's got more than I want. And this is why I always keep a paper towel by my desk, because inevitably I need to get some stuff off. And this time I need to get some glue out because I overglued. Now you'll notice I'm getting some glue along the edges of my piece here. That's not that big of a deal. As long as you take it off while it's still wet, it won't be a problem. Okay, this might be all right. Okay, so now I've got my excess glue out. I'm going to put just a dab of Loctite on where these come together right here. And then we'll push it together and push it into one of these caps. Now, like I say, we might have some goosh, which I just did. I was hoping not to have that much goop, but it did. So we'll have to clean that off some. Incidentally, if you have a silicone mat and you get gunk on it, it'll pretty much wipe off, so it's not an issue as far as that's concerned. We'll clean that up some in a bit. We'll do the next few. Just like I say, we're going to put some super glue right here. This is Loctite super glue, by the way, gel control. So it's a little easier to work with. And we're going to push that up in there with this one. Now this did goosh out, but not nearly as much as the other one. See how I've got just a little bit here and right here. And I think I saw some over here. Yep. And now for our last one, we'll do exactly the same, just even it's just a little bigger. And we'll get our Loctite right across the top there. Close it up because we're now done with it. Put our pieces together there. Now we're going to push them into here. Oh, that one goobered, really goobered. That's all right. We'll clean it up. Now you see I got some glue on the on my cap here, and that's not a problem. I will, when it dries just a little bit, then the E6000 will pull off, as long as you don't let it dry all the way for its 24 hours. So we'll just get these in here a ways more. And then we are going to see if they're dry enough to clean some of that off. And since they're a small place, it might be just really easily done. So you get a pair of tweezers, and then you get to where it seems to be sticking here, like so. Get hold of it and pull. See how it came off quite easily on that spot right there? With it has dried enough to make it easily come off, but not so dry that it won't come off at all. Oop. Now I think this spot I've got here might actually be the super glue. So we'll just have to rub it off, like as much as possible. Obviously, I need to watch that overgluing problem I have. Okay, there's just this one little bit that wants to... There we go. So this one's pretty much clean. It's got a little spot right here, but I think we can rub it off in time. Then we'll go for the next one here. See how much it needs to have taken off. This one may be still a little wet. So I think this spot is super glue from the way it was sticking to my finger. Now, I will warn you, if you don't like glue on your hands, to wear rubber gloves or some medical gloves or something like that, so that you don't have to worry about this, the glue getting on your hands. I personally am really used to glue being on my hands, because when I make my hairbreads, I always get glue on my hands, so... You'll notice I'm cleaning my tweezers as I pull this off, and that is because the if you let the glue harden on your tweezers, it doesn't want to come off. So you don't want to let it harden on your tweezers. There we go. That one's pretty clean. And there is the longer one. So they will hang on the necklace like so. So now let's put them up in our drying tray. And these can sit aside for a few minutes while we bead up the other portion of our necklace. Now see how that comes right off of when I rub it, the glue. So if you don't have a silicone mat and you're going to do a lot of gluing, I would advise getting one because these are great. I got mine from Amazon and they come in a 2-pack and they're not that expensive. So anyway, what's left is to hook our pretty pieces on the bottom. So they're probably dry enough now that we can hook them on. So let's get those out. Now the thing is, these are going to need 2 jump rings because they face opposite directions of where you're going to want them at. Oop, this is this one over here. This one goes here. So let's get started doing that. So I'm not sure that the small one will work here because this is a pretty big hole here. We may need to switch them to larger jump rings. We'll see here in just a moment. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. See how big that is there? It doesn't want to come together. So we'll just put this little one right here in here. And we'll get some bigger ones out to finish this up. Put the little ones in place. On each of the bales. Come on, you. Okay, so now we need to get 3 large jump rings to put the jump ring onto our pretty little piece here. So 1, 2, 3. 3. Nope, that's 4. So we'll open up each one of these, go through our big jump here, our big bail, and then onto one of these jump rings. Okay, this is the, okay. Oh, don't do that. Now see, that doesn't want to close quite well, so just ease it back and forth, pushing with slight pressure till you feel it rub, and I just did. So that one's on. There we go. So as you can see, it's hanging like that. Now we'll put the other two on, and normally I'd say we're done, but we're not. There is some more pieces I want to put through our okay, 2, and now for our third one. Okay, so there is the necklace, like so. But again, as I say, we're not quite done. And that's because I have some little pieces here that we're going to take a little bit of chain, go through here, jump rig it together. Then we're going to put on some little dangles onto each one of these pieces. What we're going to do is we're going to make our 3 dangles. They're identical dangles. There's nothing different about them. And then we're going to get some chain and put the chain through our dangle pieces, or put the dangle piece through the chain, I should say, and then put the chain through the middle of our pieces and loop it around, and these will hang from them. So how we're going to make these is with the pearl on the bottom, the ball head pin, the ball spacer, there are on a ball head pin, and then the chevron, like so. We're going to do all 3 of those like that. Bend it so that we can't lose our wires, our beads right away. Now, as you can see, my ball head pins are a little bit bowed, and that's not a problem because I'll just, like I just did, I'll just run my hand up them and warm them enough that they will straighten pretty much up. And since it's not a big piece, I'm not concerned about getting it all the way to the end anyway. So and our pieces should be plenty dry enough now to play with them. So So those are going to dangle like so. So let's get our stepped bell making pliers out. And we will wrap these up. Now I'm going to put them on the second rather than the first when I wrap them, so that the chain can just slide through the chain easily. And I'm not going to bother to leave a gap or anything, because I am going to just slide these on the chain as I put the chain on. And I'm going to let them free float so that I don't have to worry about getting them in any particular place. So up and around and down and over and bing. So our lollipop shape. Tools don't want to go back in place here. Behave. There we go. So now we're going to just wrap these up, and then we're going to get some more chain out, and I'll decide the length I want it to be. Oh, I don't need those. And then we'll just get those all taken care of. Tucked in. See how straight we are? If we need to straighten a little bit, there we go. That looks like that slid up my loop and made a smaller loop. I wanted that bigger loop, so that, wonder if I accidentally made a smaller loop there. If so, we'll probably have to cut that one off because I didn't make it big enough for sliding on the chain. And that won't be the first time I've put my fletch cutters to that use. Tuck this in. Yeah, I definitely used the smaller loop on that one, not paying attention, because see how much smaller it is? That's not going to work for sliding on that chain, because this is the chain we're going to use, the same we used for the extender chain. And we have to have enough room for it to slide. And it won't slide if it's that smaller size. So we're going to have to cut that one loose and redo it. Like I say, it won't be the first time. Probably won't be the last time either, unfortunately. But that's the way things go. There's those two. Like I said, we're going to cut this one loose and get a different head pin so that we can restring it up to fold it to the proper size. So put this back together here. Pearl, ball spacer, and chevron. Bend her over. Use the bigger size. Over and around and down and around over here. Straighten her up. And now we'll wrap it again. Oops, I let that slide. Better fix that. Now we cut the excess. Careful, don't cut your loop. I have done that before. It's rather disheartening when you get it finished and everything's done and then you just cut your loop right off. It's not fun. That wrap wants to be crappy. Gotta fetch that. Now what we gotta do is we've got to get this chain with the pearl on it through our little loops and then jumpering the ends together, which is a lot easier said than done because it's tiny and the chain is not real long. I didn't want a really long chain, and so the pieces don't want to stay put as I try to put them on, and unfortunately they are slipping through constantly here. So I opened my jump ring up big enough to get through the chain easily, but then it keeps falling off as I try to put the pearl on. So I'm not sure what is the easiest way to do this, to be truthful with you. Now get the pearl back on the chain. Hold that. Don't drop it. There we go. Okie dokie. So there's one of them on, so you can see how that's going to look when I get the other two on. Like hanging down like there. So let's go do the other two and get them done the exact same way, and hopefully they will behave a little faster and better than the original one did. But I think I sort of have an idea of how to do them now. So let's get one of these babies open. Get the chain and put it through the loop. Hold it. Actually put this baby down. Get one of our pearl pieces up on the arm. Come on. Now get hold of our jump ring again. And and slide her through both links. And then close it up. That one went much simpler now that I've got the pattern down on what I need to do. So now we'll just open this jump ring up and leave it down here on the ground. Get the chain up and the pearl and go to it. Chain through the piece. Hold it, put the pearl up, oops, go on, hold, pull this piece down where I can get to it, get hold of the ring, oh, it's on that one side. Uh-oh, where'd it go? It fell. There it is over there. Okay. Come on, you. Okay, one side. Two sides. And now we just got to close this baby up. Okay, and there she is. She's done. Isn't that pretty? Nice and shiny. I think it turned out really nice. And here she is. Isn't she pretty? There's our dangles, which we just finished. And then, of course, the beaded section, which was done in part 1 of our necklace. There we go. Isn't she pretty? I hope you liked making this with me. I think it turned out great. I'm really pleased with it. I hope you like it as much as I do. There's the dangles portion, which we just finished. And the beaded portion. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we've been using, again, the Art Deco Luxe bead kit from Bargain Bead Box. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.